go on a quick walk around Reykjavik and see everything for one last time until we come back. So there are statues like this in our hotel by Steinan Thorinsdottir. They were like coming out of the walls and they kind of freak me out, but I guess that's the point of art. And there are statues all over the city, so if that's something you're into, you could definitely make a day of it and tour around checking them out.
We've no place to go. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
It's snowing!
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
So we didn't check our gate, and it's about a 20-minute walk away, and we start boarding in 10 minutes. So now we get to work, and it's cold out. Yeah, there's a bit of a storm passing through, so it's going to be a bumpy ascent, but I think it should flatten out once.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Hey guys, so that is the last of our Iceland footage. We are back at home now in Texas. While we were on the plane ride home, we wrote down some things, some tips and tricks if you're planning a trip to Iceland that we wish we had known before we went. We still had a really good time, but we just wrote down a few things that would be good to know in advance. First on the list is if you have a GoPro, make sure you get appropriate, safety devices for it. Like if you need a wristband or a floaty thing or a protective outer case or something to protect it against snow and mud and volcano stuff. Like if you're gonna bring a GoPro with you, make sure you have all of the accessories. Okay, you have to book and reserve everything in advance, including your dinner reservations. If there's a restaurant that you really want to go to, email them and make a booking before you go, because there were a couple of places we wanted to try out and we just tried walking in the front door and they're like, sorry, we're booked for the next 3 weeks. So book as far in advance as you can. Everyone was really responsive over email, which surprised me, so you can just email them because it's a pain to try and call Iceland from the States, like with the time difference and everything. But yeah, email, good. Next, you want to go to the Blue Lagoon, you also have to buy those tickets in advance and you have to show up within the given time slot. You can't just like buy a ticket and then show up anytime that day. It has to be in the time that you choose. And we really recommend going to the Blue Lagoon either on your way to the airport or your way from the airport. You can make a trip from Reykjavik out there just to go to the Blue Lagoon, but it's more worth it if you're going to be at the airport because it's all the way out there. Another Blue Lagoon tip, after you pay and you get your wristband, you have to go up to the change rooms where you get changed and you take a shower before you can go out and get into the lagoon. And after you shower, they give you these flip-flops to wear that you can like wear downstairs and then kind of leave them, and it's just like a sea of flip-flops and towels. So obviously you have to bring a towel or you'll like freeze to death getting out of the lagoon. But if I would not bring flip-flops out of the change room. It's really not that far a walk from the change room to get into the lagoon, and it's all indoors. I would just leave them in your locker because I lost mine. I had my own flip-flops. I didn't like buy a pair there, and they were just like they were black like all the other flip-flops, and someone stole mine. So next on the list, prepare for weather delays. Weather happens in Iceland. It can be like really nice and sunny one day and then raining and then snowing, and then we got hailed on, we got sleet, we got everything. So prepare for weather delays. Ask the hotel staff to help you out. They can usually help you out with like making alternative plans, which is nice. And if you plan on actually staying in Reykjavik, pick somewhere downtown so that you can walk to everything. And the big church is a great landmark if you get lost because you can always see it. Next one, bring extra socks because your socks will get wet. Bring lots of snacks if you want to keep costs down. A lot of people see like cheap flights to Iceland and think that everything else there is cheap. It is not. Food is really expensive. Like even food from the grocery store is really expensive, so you can bring snacks with you. We went to the grocery store like the first day we were there and like stocked up. We didn't have a kitchen or anything in our hotel room, so we couldn't do anything too sophisticated, but it definitely helped. Things to buy. The tap water in Iceland is completely drinkable. It's potable. It's really, really good geothermal water, so there is no need to buy bottled water there. And I think they deliberately make it expensive because they don't want you buying bottled water. They want you to just drink water out of the tap. So you can do that. And if you decide you want to do the Northern Lights tour, which everyone should if it's happening at the time of year you were going, book it for the first night you were there. And then if the weather does not cooperate, you can just call, and you have to call and rebook it for the next night. Most guide companies will, if they cancel on you, they'll let you rebook it for free, but you have to actually call them and rebook it. You do not automatically get moved to the next tour. So if you book it for the first night, it maximizes your chance that you'll actually get to see it. Doesn't guarantee it though. We booked a Northern Lights tour for the first night we were there, and it got canceled all 6 days. So yeah, okay. Other thing, talking about things getting canceled. If you book a tour and it is canceled and you cannot go at all, you can't rebook and you can't go, you have to email or call the tour company you booked it with and request a refund. They will not automatically refund you. I don't know why they do this, it's just how things are. So we booked a South Shore tour that we didn't end up being able to make, there was bad weather and we couldn't go and we couldn't rebook it because it was on our last day. So I had to actually call Reykjavik Excursions and ask them to refund our ticket. They did it, it was no problem, it took like 3 days, but if I hadn't called, they wouldn't have done it. So if you want a refund, make sure you like follow up on that and do it right away. Last one on the list. If you decide to venture out on your own, there are a lot of things to do in Iceland that don't require a guide, that you can just venture out on your own, like the South Shore tour, the Golden Circle. There's lots of stuff in northern Iceland, like if you wanted to go snowmobiling or go in the glacier walks and everything, you can get there by yourself. But if you're gonna do the lava tubing or the caving or anything like that, we really recommend hiring a guide. If you look at our lava tubing video, you'll see that I got lost in a tube where you can only go 2 directions. You can go forward or backwards, and I still almost managed to like crawl into some like uncharted cavern off to the left or something because I didn't know where I was going. So definitely, if you're going to do those kind of activities, do not try to do them on your own and get a guide. And one more thing, you can get a tax refund for certain things that you purchase in Iceland when you leave. You just have to take the receipt to this little kiosk in the airport and you fill out a form and they'll give you some of your taxes back. But you have to remember to ask for the special receipt when you're buying things in Iceland. So if you plan on doing a lot of shopping, definitely keep that in mind and you know, factor in some extra time at the airport when you're leaving so you can like line up and get your refund. We did it. We got like, we didn't buy that much stuff. We bought a couple books and we ended up getting like $20 each back. But yeah, definitely something to consider if you're trying to save as much money as possible on this trip. Yeah, that's all we've got for our Iceland trip. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Yeah, guess that's it. Bye guys.